Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. The immediate past head of the service in Rivers State, Dr. George Nwaeke, is refuting claims that he was speaking under duress or had been kidnapped amidst his torrent of accusations against the suspended governor of the state, Siminalayi Fubara. Arise News correspondent Mary Chinda has this report.
Dr. Nwaeke making fresh allegations on Saturday morning, marking his second press conference in less than 24 hours. His latest briefing is a clear indication that the political crisis in Rivers State may not be abating anytime soon.
Yesterday, I addressed the press. After some hours of addressing the press, I saw a video of my wife trending online that I was kidnapped and that I made my statement under duress. I've already debunked that. My wife cannot speak for me on civil service matters when I'm still healthy and mentally very fit. Let me say it again. I was not kidnapped.
He firmly dismisses rumors that he had been coerced or abducted, stating that his comments were made for the benefit of the oil-rich state of Rivers. Nwaeke reiterates his accusations, alleging that Governor Fubara ordered the burning of the Rivers State Assembly complex and has been involved in gross financial mismanagement.
The level of stealing of public funds and assets witnessed in the last 2 years is mind-boggling and never ever experienced in the history of the state, as we also had the highest allocation ever during this period. I've also heard people saying that I have been compromised. This is over 1 year and the assembly was brought down, yet no panel of inquiry was set up. And there has not been any report on that incident from the state government until date, at least until the time I can remember, maybe yesterday. I don't know if today. Not even a police investigation. I call on the federal government to set up an independent investigation team.
Responding to a video of his wife in which she called Fubara, Dr. Nwaeke claimed that she was speaking under duress.
You heard her when she said that I flew from Port Harcourt to Abuja. I flew with Igbo Air. At least no kidnapper can carry me on a flight. And I know probably, and I believe, that she would have been misinformed. As head of my family, I apologize sincerely to the public on her behalf. Maybe I also think that she did that so that she will escape any harm, because you know they were already hunting for me.
Earlier this month, the political crisis in Rivers State escalated when the president appointed a sole administrator for the state, suspending the governor, his deputy, and the entire House of Assembly. Mary Chinda, Arise News.
Well, we are now being joined from Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, by Professor Itonenan Henry Ogiri, a former Rivers State Commissioner for Power and a one-time Executive Director, Finance and Administration at the Niger Delta Development Commission, who was accused by Dr. Nwaeke's wife of masterminding a kidnap attempt against her husband. As it turned out, the former head of service eventually turned up in Abuja, as you may have seen from that package we played, and was sharing special moments with loyalists of former Rivers State Governor and Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. Good morning, Professor Ogiri. You also released a statement with regards to this issue, specifically distancing yourself from setting details of Dr. Nwaeke's wife's claim with regards to the allegations that you bought that flight ticket, and you said you've had absolutely nothing to do with this. Could you just reiterate your side of the story with regards to your involvement and your actual involvement and alleged involvement in this entire debacle?
Thank you. Good morning. It came to me as a big surprise, a shock at about 1 a.m. yesterday morning. I saw missed calls. I saw messages that you are, being accused of kidnapping the former head of service of River State. And I'm like, what is going on? And I followed, quite closely the reports on the social media until it was morning time. And I tried to authenticate the videos I was seeing, and I saw that this is not a joke. And many sources have reported it. And so I decided to put up a dismissal. It's not a denial. Some sections of the media reported that Professor Henry Ogiri denies that. It's not a denial. In fact, I dismissed it because the whole thing is just a very poorly rehearsed and a poorly, played out theatrics. I can't imagine how somebody who have been in Port Harcourt today makes a month and 2 days have been in River State. I left Abuja the day the Supreme Court gave judgment on the Rivers matter. And ever since, I haven't been to Abuja. I've been in River State. We have an office in Port Harcourt where I do attend, my official duties. And in addition to that, I spoke with my chairman, the National Population Commission, to say, as they are also aware, I had a burial. I lost my foster father, and I have to be, going to the village and coming back. And so I've been in Port Harcourt for that long, and my foster father was buried on the 22nd of March. And I wondered how somebody who has been in River State will call the resigned HOS from Abuja to come from Port Harcourt to Abuja to meet him to discuss on what matters.
All right.
Yes, Dr. George Nwaeke is a friend and and a professional colleague. But I haven't communicated with him since this crisis, escalated. Yeah.
All right. So you said you haven't communicated with him since this crisis escalated, and since the Supreme Court judgment. But we all watched that video of Florence, Dr. Nwaeke's wife's emotional plea in that viral video, saying that her husband was under duress, accusing you point blank of purchasing her husband's ticket to Abuja. And now, what most people want to know is why you? Why would she finger you? You were the former commissioner for powers in rivers. What is your level of involvement in this rivers crisis? I mean, there are allegations that Dr. Nwaeke is speaking under duress as well.
To be honest with you, I'm even at a loss. I don't know where this is coming from, but whoever that has, planned out this script failed ab initio. Because even the Dr. Nwaeke that has been, paraded as being kidnapped or held hostage, he has come out to say he was not kidnapped. He is well and fine. He granted interviews in Abuja. He went there on his own through Ibom Air, and that is it. So for me, it's quite unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate that someone will accept to play that kind of script to implicate an innocent man. What business do I have with Dr. George Nwaeke and the problems he's having with his erstwhile boss, the governor? I have no business with what is going on. They should face their problems and leave me alone. In fact, if this was coming from George Nwaeke himself, I would have known what to do. I've spoken with my lawyers, and some friends are saying, leave the poor woman. The woman may have been under duress. And if you watch that video that was trending, you will see that the woman was clearly dramatizing. Even someone whose husband, is kidnapped does not even play the way she played.
Really?
You know, that is typical what I would describe as crocodile tears. No tears even drop from her eyes. Somebody who claimed that the husband, she's not even aware. If the husband is still alive, they would have killed the husband and all that. She was dramatizing. And you see, there was even setting, you know, cameras and all that were prepared and laid down for this call with the woman. So it was all theatrics, but a poorly scripted one at that. So for me, I am still watching the unfolding drama, and I believe that with what is even going on, and the judge himself haven't come out to say nobody has held him hostage, Judge and I have not seen or spoken since this whole drama started that led to Supreme Court giving judgment and then a state of emergency being declared. I've not even seen him. Since I left the cabinet in 2023, Judge and I have not seen. And we have spoken only once as a friend, a professional colleague, because we are not working on the same platform. So the communication is even no longer there. So what business have I with judges going to Abuja to go? Judge has told the world that he went on his own to speak with the security agencies about what he knows about Rivers State. And that is not my business. I don't know what, transpired before he left Rivers State. And so for the wife, I am still consulting with my lawyers. I believe that she will come out one day to say what she said was not true. And I'm giving her that privilege, that opportunity to come out and say she accused me wrongly. I do not know, and I never knew what happened with her husband traveling from Port Harcourt to Abuja. I have been in Port Harcourt for over a month. How can someone travel to meet somebody in Abuja when the person is in Port Harcourt? Why didn't I see Judge Nwaeke in Port Harcourt and then hold him hostage here and force him to make a statement? So this is what the lawyers will say, the facts speak for itself. Res ipso liquito.
All right.
So for me, the woman merely played the script written to her, but a very bad one at that.
All right. Professor Ogiri, thanks for all you have said so far. I have two sets of questions for you. First one is to...
Very well.
Yeah, first one is to confirm if you are truly sure that you are the person being referred to in that video by Florence, the wife of Dr. Nwaeke. I listened to the video. I heard the name Ogiri being mentioned, a couple of times. You have, your name is the type that is like the way we introduce you is a three-name kind of a name with a title. I'm not sure that I heard
Absolutely.
the entire gamut of your name being mentioned. So if there was a reference to an Ogiri who purportedly tried to buy tickets and tried to take her husband to Abuja, how are you sure that you were the one being referred to? What also is the level? Just hold on, sir. What's the level of relationship that you have had with Mrs. Nwaeke, not just her husband now, but Mrs. Nwaeke herself, while you were a colleague to the former head of service? And then also more importantly, what do you make of this new development in Rivers State politics and affairs? You have said that you think that what the woman has done is mere theatrics. But then you seem to believe in totality what Dr. Nwaeke has done. Has granted 2 press conferences. There's a 360 degrees turnaround from his position last year when he sang the praises of the governor to I. Evans when the administration clocked 1, to what he's now talking about as former head of service and how the governor, under suspension, is practically responsible for all the ills in Rivers State. You seem to believe him, but you do not. You think that the one by the wife is mere theatrics. How did you arrive, at this conclusion, given the fact that many people might, as a matter of fact, say that what Dr. Nwaeke himself is doing looks like a theater of the absurd, but then here you are saying that you believe him, but you think that the wife is at fault. How did you arrive at this conclusion, sir?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start from your very first question. If the woman had just mentioned Ogiri, perhaps I would have hesitated in reacting or responding to the allegation, all right? However, when she repeatedly said Ogiri, the husband's friend, Ogiri, from Abua, and I have checked, and people can also check, there are no two Ogiris from Abua Odual in politics that have risen with all sense of humility to the level I am politically in the local government to be able to pull a call or be accused of pulling a call or being friendly at the same level with a head of service of a state. So, by continuously repeating Ogiri from Abua, that makes it even explicit for anyone that knows me to believe that it is me. And the number of questions, phone calls, text messages that stormed my phone lines confirmed everybody believed that it was me the woman were referring to. Secondly, Dr. George Nwaeke is a professional colleague and a friend. And so, the wife, we are not close. I have met her on a very few occasions. The husband has introduced me, this is my wife. And that's all I know about her. In fact, even her name, it is in this matter, this whole saga, that I'm knowing that her name is even Florence. I didn't even know her name. So we are not close. So it came to me as a huge shock that a woman who do not even barely knows me will now accuse me of holding or taking the husband hostage. So it shows that she was merely playing, a script that had been written to her. A very poorly, scripted document at that matter. Now, let me come back to your other part of the question. The whole issue that has happened and is still happening is such that the facts are playing out by themselves. So for me, the woman accusing me of abducting a husband have been nullified by the husband who have come out to say nobody, abducted him. That is settled. However, we are waiting to see what, will unfold in the coming days and, as the case may be. Because I am even using this medium to tell the husband, my friend, Dr. Nwaeke, to clearly in any further communications he's making, he has to clearly tell the world that Professor Henry Ogiri never called him, never invited him to Abuja, never interacted with him ever. He needs to do that because I have spoken with, and this is a clear case of defamation of character.
Okay.
I have built a character over the years.
Of course, Professor.
Yes, and I will not allow anyone to drag my name in the mud.
That's perfectly understandable, Professor. So just help us understand the broader political feud here. The suspended governor was once seen, a lot of people would describe him as a mentee or a prodigy of, the former governor of River State, Nwaeke. And in all of this, the big question is, what went wrong? What went so terribly wrong within the amount of time that we saw in just a matter of months? And aside that, what are your own thoughts in this? Where do your loyalties lie? What side are you on? What is your own stance on this entire incident that has taken place from this, especially looking at the state of emergency that is now imposed in River State? And also those allegations that Dr. George Nwaeke laid out in his very extensive press briefing, if I do say so myself.
Thank you. while I will not be able to validate or otherwise speak on the allegations leveled by Dr. George Nwaeke on the suspended governor, because I wasn't with them, as I wasn't the head of service. I left the cabinet in 2023 after just about 3 months as a commissioner in the cabinet of the suspended governor, Siminalayi Fubara. Now, so those veracities is not what I will speak on, because George is the right person to speak on. Now, coming to my perspective and whose side am I on, my position has never been in doubt. I am a loyalist of the FCT minister, Nyesom Nwaeke. I am his follower. And by my nature, those who know me politically, if I stand for someone, I stand for that person, whether thick, through thick and thin. I don't stand for somebody and then abandon him when the time for tests and trials and all that. No. So my position is very clear. I am with the FCT minister. I have been with him and I will continue to be with him. It's not in doubt. Now, about the happenings in the state. Before I left the cabinet as a honorable commissioner for power in Rivers State, when I perceived what was going on, everybody was, murmuring, things were happening. It was not seriously in the open at that time. Yes, there were events as happened. I personally spoke with the governor. I saw him because, he was my boss. And then even before the elections, we were relating very fine. We had very good relationship. And I had no problem with him whatsoever. So I went to him and I said, Your Excellency, sir, these things happening between you and our Oga, you call him your Oga, even though I know he's our Oga, all of us. But you call him specifically your Oga. So please, don't let these things happening. Don't let the gulf to grow wider. Find a way that you can manage no matter the circumstance, no matter the challenges. Find a way that you can manage and work with your Oga in a harmonious way. I advised him that, and he thanked me. So, to me, it is, he fell victim to people who want to hijack the political structure of Rivers State. Nobody just gets up from the blues and take over a structure that somebody has built. Like the Honorable Minister has said severally, that my structure should not be tampered. He labored hard, he worked hard to raise the structure. I am the leader of my local government, a political leader of my party in my local government. I know the efforts that the leadership in my local government, all of us, we put in to bring the governor to office, to deliver the governor. We canvassed through over 54 communities, day and night, campaigning for the governor, who was barely known at that time. So for me, he allowed people to come in and, misadvise him, to say, don't listen to your boss. You are the governor. Fubara is not a bad man. From what I interacted with him and I knew him. But, they say until you give somebody power and money, you will know them. So he allowed people around him to misadvise him and get the situation. But I still repeated it even not too long ago. I met one of his close associates, allies, and I told him, I said, my brother, tell His Excellency, to me, I don't see anything that is late now, even now as we are speaking. Go and meet you should go and meet his Oga. Only two of them. Don't bring in third parties and see how you can reconcile this. Nwaeke has a forgiving spirit, a forgiving heart. I know that.
Yes.
Lots of his followers can attest to that. If he goes and meet him, and then, please, whatever I have wrong, I've erred, please, you brought me to this position. You helped by God's grace. God used you to bring me to this position. We can still make things work. We can work together. I don't see the need for this crisis. It is in nobody's good.
That is well understood.
Yes, it is in no one's good. Even myself, I am not happy with what's happening in the state.
I can imagine. You know, Professor Ogiri, you've spoken extensively about your stance on this entire issue, and I just have to thank you for, most importantly, clarifying a lot of the thoughts and opinions that we've seen with regards to the allegations of, you know, basically taking away Dr. George Nwaeke from his home, and, you know, his wife's also claims in that video. Thank you so much for your time this morning on The Morning Show.